You are lying in bed. The lights are off. The house is still. And everyone in your life believes you have moved on. But your mind has not. It is 2 in the morning. You are not thinking about tomorrow. You are not planning your week or running through your schedule. You are replaying something that already happened. Something someone did to you. Something someone said straight to your face while hiding the truth behind their teeth. You can see it so clearly. The exact moment. The look on their face. The pause before they spoke. The way their eyes shifted just slightly to the left before they told you what you now know was a lie. You remember the room. You remember what you were wearing. You remember the feeling in your chest. That quiet, sinking pull when something deep inside you whispered, "Something is wrong here." And the strangest part is, you did not choose to think about this tonight. You did not sit down and decide to revisit that moment. It just arrived, like a film your mind keeps pressing play on, without your permission, without warning. Just there again, fully formed, fully detailed, as though it happened 10 minutes ago. You have tried to stop it. You have told yourself it does not matter anymore, that it was a long time ago, that you are bigger than this, stronger than this. But it keeps returning. The same scene, the same words, the same sinking feeling sitting heavy in your stomach. Not because you are weak, not because you cannot let go, but because something inside you is still trying to understand what really happened in that moment. And that need to understand is not what most people think it is. The world has a very simple story for people like you. They say you are overthinking. They say you are holding on to something that is already over. They say you need to just forgive, let go, and stop living in the past like it still owns you. And maybe you have tried. Maybe you have genuinely, deeply tried to release it. Maybe you have sat with yourself and said the words out loud. I forgive them. I am done carrying this. I am choosing to move forward. But your body did not listen. Your chest still tightens when the memory surfaces. Your jaw still clenches when you hear their name. Your thoughts still circle back to the same scene like a river that keeps bending toward the same rock, no matter how many times you try to redirect it. And that made you wonder, is something wrong with me? Because it seems like everyone else has the ability to just close a chapter and walk forward. But you are the one still standing on the same page, reading the same line, searching for the meaning that will finally let you turn the page and breathe again. But here is something no one tells you. Replaying betrayal is not a sign that you are broken. It is not a sign that you are too sensitive. It is not evidence that something inside you is damaged beyond repair. It is a sign that your mind is doing exactly what it was designed to do. When trust is shattered, your brain does not just register the pain and file it away. It flags the entire experience. It stores every detail, the words that were used, the tone of voice behind those words, the body language that did not match, the timing, the way the air in the room changed when the truth finally came out. Not because your mind wants to punish you, not because it wants to keep you suffering, but because it is trying to protect you from the next time. Your mind is scanning that memory over and over again, searching for the signal it missed, the warning it walked past, the red flag it did not recognize in the moment. It is not replaying the betrayal to keep you stuck. It is replaying the betrayal so it can learn the pattern, build a better filter, so that next time, it catches what it missed before. That is not weakness. That is not dysfunction. That is your nervous system doing its job in the only way it knows how. The problem is not that your mind keeps going back. The problem is that no one ever taught you how to work with it when it does. So instead of feeling protected, you feel imprisoned inside your own thinking. Let us go a little deeper. Because what is happening inside you is far more intelligent than anyone has ever told you. When betrayal occurs, your brain does not process it the way it handles a regular disappointment, a canceled plan, a forgotten birthday, a missed phone call. Those things hurt, but they do not fracture your foundation. Betrayal is different. It does not land like a bruise on the surface. It lands like a crack through the center of your entire map of safety. Because before the betrayal happened, you had a version of reality. A version where that person was someone you could count on. A version where their words carried weight. A version where you believed in them. Not because you were naive, but because they gave you every single reason to. And when the betrayal surfaced, that version of reality collapsed. Not just emotionally, but neurologically. Your brain had built a working model of that person. It had stored their patterns, their rhythms, their habits, the way they showed up and the way they made you feel. And when the truth destroyed that model, your mind did not just delete the old file and install a new one. It started looping, trying to hold two versions of the same human being at the same time. The one you trusted and the one who lied. The one who held your hand and the one who let go when you were not looking. The one who made you feel safe and the one who proved that safety was a story they let you believe. That is what the replay really is. It is not obsession. It is not rumination for the sake of suffering. It is your mind trying to solve an equation that does not have a clean answer. Trying to merge a person you loved with a person who wounded you. And until those two images find a way to coexist in your understanding, the loop will not stop on its own. And here is what makes it even harder. Betrayal does not only affect your thoughts, it rewires your perception of everything around you. After someone breaks your trust deeply enough, your nervous system becomes sharper, more precise. You begin to notice things you never used to see. A slight shift in someone's tone. A pause that lasts half a second too long. The way someone avoids your eyes when they answer a question that should have been simple. That is not paranoia. That is recalibration. Your system is updating itself because the previous version of your awareness was not enough. And the replays are part of that upgrade. Your mind is returning to the exact point of failure and installing better awareness for the future. It is not a glitch in your system. It is not a malfunction. It is your mind engineering a sharper, more honest version of its own perception. One that refuses to be fooled the same way twice. But here is what no one around you actually sees. On the outside, you look fine. You go to work. You show up at dinners. You answer messages. You laugh at the right moments. You hold conversations. You function. People look at you and see someone who is handling life. But on the inside, there is a courtroom that never closes. A trial that never adjourns. You are reviewing the evidence. You are cross-examining every memory. You are replaying every conversation word by word, trying to find the exact moment the lie was planted, trying to reach a verdict that will finally let you put this down and rest. And the people around you do not see any of that. They see someone who has been a little distant lately, someone who takes too long to reply, someone who hesitates before saying yes to plans, someone who pulls back slightly when things begin to get close. They call it cold. They call it guarded. They call it dramatic. They call it too much. And you do not correct them. Because how do you explain that your silence is not anger? It is processing. How do you tell someone that your distance is not rejection? It is self-preservation. How do you put into words that you are not pushing them away? You are just trying to make sure the ground beneath your feet is solid before you stand on it again. You do not explain it. You just carry it. Quietly. Alone. Behind a face that looks fine. And the loneliest part of betrayal is not the act itself. It is the invisible wall that forms between you and the rest of the world afterward. Because now you are living in two realities at once. The one everyone else sees. And the one that plays on repeat behind your eyes when the room goes quiet and there is no one left to distract you from it. People tell you to let it go. They say it with good intentions. But they do not understand. You are not holding on to the person who hurt you. You are holding on to a question. A single question that your brain refuses to stop circling. The one that keeps you up when everyone else is asleep. How did I not see it coming? And if you follow this pattern far enough back, you will find that it did not begin with the most recent betrayal. It started somewhere much quieter, somewhere younger, somewhere you may not have even thought to look. Maybe you grew up in a home where trust was not constant, where someone could be warm and present in the morning and completely cold and unreachable by evening, where love was not steady. It showed up when it wanted to, and it disappeared without explanation. Maybe you learned very early that people do not always mean what they say, that a promise made on Monday could be forgotten by Friday, that words and actions do not always match, and that the safest thing you could do was to watch, to listen, to remember, to track what people actually did, not just what they told you. So your mind became a recorder. It started saving everything. The tone behind a compliment, the shift in energy before a conversation turned cold, the space between what someone said and what they actually meant. You became someone who noticed things other people walked right past, not because you wanted to, but because at some point in your early life, noticing those things was the only thing that kept you safe. That is where the replay habit was truly born, not in the latest heartbreak, not in the most recent lie, but in the very first environment that taught your nervous system to stay on alert, to archive inconsistencies, to track patterns in people the way others track the weather. And when a new betrayal happens in your adult life, it does not only activate the present wound, it activates the original one. The part of your system that was already trained to expect inconsistency recognizes the familiar pattern and goes into full operation. That is why it hits so hard. That is why the replays feel so heavy and so relentless. You are not just processing one betrayal. You are processing every single time someone made you feel safe and then proved that you were not. Your mind is running all of those memories at once, searching for a rule, a pattern, anything it can hold on to so it never gets blindsided the same way again. This is not a disorder. This is not something that needs to be fixed. It is an adaptation, one that was formed in an environment where trust was unreliable, and your body has not yet received the message that the original danger has passed. So let us be very clear about what this actually says about you. You are not someone who cannot move on. You are someone who processes deeply. You are someone whose mind does not accept shallow answers to important questions. You are someone who needs things to truly, fully, honestly make sense before you can put them down and walk away. And that is not a flaw. That is depth. The people who replay betrayal in their minds are not the ones who are too fragile for this world. They are the ones who gave their trust with intention. They chose to believe in someone, not blindly, not carelessly, but with purpose. And when that trust was violated, it mattered. It mattered deeply, because it was never casual to begin with. You do not replay careless connections. You do not lose sleep over people who never touched the real parts of you. You replay the ones that mattered, the ones where you let your guard come down, the ones where you chose vulnerability over distance, and someone used that openness against you. That is not dysfunction. That is evidence of something rare. It means you do not hand over your loyalty without meaning it. It means when you trust someone, you trust fully. And when that trust is broken, it costs you something real. Because you are not the kind of person who gives pieces of themselves away and forgets about it. And the replays, they are not a cage. They are proof that your mind refuses to treat trust carelessly ever again. Not out of fear, but out of respect for what trust actually means to you, what it costs, what it demands. You are not broken for replaying it. You are aware. You are recalibrating. And quietly, without anyone watching, without needing applause, you are becoming someone who will never again open the door for a person who does not deserve to walk through it. And that is not something to be ashamed of. That is something to respect about yourself. So here's what I want to leave you with tonight. Not an answer, not a solution, not a list of steps to follow. Just one question. What if the replay is not your enemy? but your mind is still trying to finish a conversation that your heart never got the chance to have. Sit with that for a moment. You do not have to rush toward healing. You do not have to perform forgiveness on someone else's timeline. You do not have to pretend the wound is closed when your mind is still gently, carefully holding it open because it has not finished learning from it yet. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is to let yourself feel it, fully, without shame, without rushing, without someone else telling you how long it should take or what it should look like from the outside. Because the people who replay betrayal in their minds are not the ones who are falling apart. They are the ones who are slowly, quietly, without anyone watching, putting themselves back together. One thought at a time, one night at a time, one breath at a time. And maybe that is not something the world will ever see. Maybe no one will ever know how many nights you spent inside that loop. How many mornings you woke up carrying something invisible. But you kept going. You kept showing up. And that matters more than anyone has ever told you. If this felt like it was written for you, then maybe it was. You do not have to explain yourself in the comments. You do not have to share your whole story or name the person who hurt you. But if you want to leave just one word, a single word that describes what you felt while you were listening, that is enough. That is more than enough. And if this is the kind of content that makes you feel a little less alone in what you carry, subscribing is just a quiet way to come back whenever you need to hear something like this again. I will be here.